Good evening. My name is Renee Vieira. I am president of the Dartmouth Educators Association, and I stand before you as an employee, a teacher, and a parent. A couple of items on your agenda this evening. One, when you go into executive session, I know you'll be discussing negotiations. Again, the DEA appreciates the efforts that the school committee has put forth in order to support us with the town and the select board. And we know the other item on the agenda this evening is the budget for fiscal year 21. There are a number of ways that this town can help support its students. We know that we're in the 13th percentile for per pupil spending across the state, and that's quite an embarrassment, especially for a town that offers so many things, well, whether it be business growth or Oceanside, and our excellent schools. But our low tax rate in this town is appealing. When you go to the town website, there it is, come on and live in Dartmouth. However, we can't continue, and many of you understand the conundrum that we're in, that we can't continue to offer quality education and to maintain services with increased costs, whether they be technological costs, building costs, heating costs. And we're put in a real tough situation. It's hard for us to stand here before you knowing that you're doing what you can and that you've spoken out for us. But we're here this evening to let you know that we hope that you continue on our behalf, and that, Mr. Kiley, we understand that you're in a position where, you have a number of people that you need to try to satisfy with a very small amount of money. And we appreciate the work that you've all done to do that. We're here to support you. Anything that we can do in order to increase the budget for fiscal 21, please know that we're here, and we just thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Chair hearing none, we'll close public comment. Next thing on our agenda tonight is approval of minutes. So Chair would entertain a motion to approve the regular session minutes of February 10th.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Okay, Chair hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I will now entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes of the same night, February 10th, 2020.
So moved, Madam Chair, with the stipulation they be held until the matter for which they were intended is concluded.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? No. Chair hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. And so next on our agenda, we have our student rep, Brendan Rigo. He's here to update us on what's happening at the high school.
Good evening, everybody. The DHS DECA Club did an outstanding job at the state competition recently. Colin Zhu placed first overall in restaurant management, qualifying for international competition in Nashville, Tennessee. Colin also received recognition for placing first in Role Play 2 and second in written marketing test. In the hotel and lodging management event, Ines Farias placed 7th overall and received second place in Role Play 2. Sophia Waite placed 9th overall in the category. The team of Riley Haynes and Orly Gonzalez placed 7th overall in the Hospitality Services team event. And the team of Adam Noseworthy and Alex Mathis placed 8th overall in the Financial Services team event. The hockey team lost a close game yesterday in the Division III South Sectional Championship against Hanover. The team had an excellent season and a great tournament run. The DHS Theater Company recently traveled to Duxbury High School, where they participated in the MATG Theater Festival. And a great job to the DHS Robotics team for a strong showing at the state championship. Their 6th and 12th place finishes among 36 of the top teams across the state represented Dartmouth very well. The World Language Department celebrated National Foreign Language Week last week with the theme of "With Languages, You're at Home Anywhere." Students and staff answered daily trivia questions and engaged other activities aimed at sparking interest around the study of languages and cultures. This week, the class of 2022 will host a spikeball competition on Wednesday starting at 3 p.m. And the DHS Music Department will host their annual Pops concert on Thursday evening. The DHS debate team competed in an MSDL division tournament on Saturday, February 29th in Shrewsbury. Senior John Gonzalez, Senior Brendan Rigo, and freshman Morgan Mello all received a bid to compete in the state tournament this April. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Too.
Thank you.
That's a lot going on, a lot of good stuff.
Thank you for all that.
Great. You're welcome to stay. You're also welcome to leave.
Thank you guys for
Find
having me.
this too exciting.
Thank you, Brenda.
All right, so, thank you for that. Next on our agenda is we get to hear from Heidi Brooks, and just Heidi or Rick? Just Heidi. We're lucky to have Heidi Brooks here to put a spotlight on the student learning and all of the other fun activities that are happening at Potter School. Welcome.
Thank you. I have sent a larger version to school committee, and to keep within the time, I've shortened it down.
Okay.
But Rick says that you should probably get nourishment, and there will be a short intermission. So,
We're early, so you have extra, you've got some
Who's
buffer
providing
time.
popcorn?
Am I not supposed to tell her that?
oh, no, not to me. Well, on behalf of the students, staff of Potter School, I thank you for giving us this opportunity to show off. Potter School currently houses 7 years of learners, preschool through grade 5. This is an amazing span of learning, and more importantly is the foundation for the expanding educational experiences to come. Middle school, high school, and beyond. A student's future success starts with a strong and broad foundation. Our goal is to foster productive members of society. To that end, we must intentionally socialize our students to treat each other with kindness, encourage risk-taking, foster a variety of academic and non-academic interests, all in an effort to inspire them to set and achieve goals, continuing in a forward trajectory. At Potter School, for a small number of students, that path starts in our preschool, but for most, it begins in kindergarten and continues until 5th grade. A school is never a mere structure made of bricks and stone. It's made from memories, successes, failures, first loves, heartbreaks, and part of everyone's childhood. But as hard as our teachers work to plan just the right lesson with just the right amount of breath to capture a span of understanding, when our students reflect on their elementary days, it is not those lessons they remember with fondness. We have a wealth of resources in our region, which some of our students and their families would never visit if it were not for a school field trip. This could be due to cost, to distance, to knowing these destinations exist. Through our process of identifying a destination or a presentation at a destination that enhance our program of studies, we create shared experiences for our students that expand beyond the walls of our classroom. Arts and Enrichment brings programs to Potter. Some programs span pre-K through grade 5, while others are grade-specific. Some programs are sponsored by the district. However, most of these programs, listed here, are funded by our PTO. Our PTO, like many PTOs, make school memorable. While we would have loved the students to remember the awe-inspiring long division lesson, the mind-blowing spelling pattern, or the magic of school lunch, it is the above and beyond the traditional school experience that becomes the fondest memories of our students long after leaving Potter. Our PTO funds most of our arts enrichment activities, offsets the cost of transportation and admission fees for field trips, as well as a host of additional expenses that directly benefit our teachers and students. Plus, our PTO has taken on the task of organizing family experiences to create a neighborhood community feel, allowing students to interact with school friends while their parents expand their social circles as well. We have our annual Halloween party. Family fun at the Dunkin' Donuts Center. Every Friday in March, our PTO sponsors activity nights, paint night, bingo night, puzzle night, movie night. This year we're adding a dance party. Our 5th graders run a concession stand at each of these events to help fund their 5th grade party. Speaking of 5th grade party, our 5th graders are sent off with an end-of-the-year tradition, a theme-inspired party to celebrate with their classmates. And our end of the year would not be complete without our annual cookout and field day, another tradition. We combine the typical field day activities with the coolest inflatables for a day of fun. This is a rain or shine event. Albert Einstein said play is the highest form of research, and we're thrilled that the elementary level still has recess. Our PTO sponsored a playground beautification day where we painted activity areas, created a natural play space with logs and stumps for climbing and building. Our Yoga Valley is a popular spot, and Mrs. Netto, our art teacher, added her artistic talents to some permanent works of art on our playground. Our playground is more than just a space for recess. It's our outdoor classroom. We have purchased an assortment of big toys for organized games, and there is truly no better sound than children running and laughing at play. And teaching kids to count is fine, but teaching them what counts is best. We are uniquely Potter. Every school has its own unique blend of energy. At Potter, we try to expand our children's minds by expanding their world. Our Potter traditions combine our love of country, family, school, and each other. We have PBIS school-wide celebrations. Rain or shine, we celebrate our Halloween with an annual parade. We love our garden. A DEF grant started us out nearly 10 years ago with 4 raised planting beds, and we've expanded to include a 30 by 30 enclosed garden and a tree farm celebrating our work with UMass Dartmouth's Jane Goodall's Roots and Shoots program. Our organically grown garlic, offered for voluntary contributions at Farm and Coast, supports our modest budget. Our Earth Mother, Ann Goodman, will be recognized in April by the Dartmouth Grange for her efforts. She will receive the Educator of the Year award. Since the Spelling Bee's inception, Potter School has contributed 3 award-winning costumed teams each year, and we are happy to fill the ranks of the misspellers. Our annual Thanksgiving Assembly combines a celebration of veterans and first responders, a chorus of holiday songs leading up to the annual arrival of Albuquerque turkey. Potter supports Potter. Our Potter families are generous to their neighbors in need. And we cannot thank the high school, Bill Kingsland, and the music department for this annual gift. Our staff and students treasure this experience, and we love seeing our former students. Several years ago, our PTO gifted us a peace pole. This peace pole is a daily reminder that we can only control what we can control, and may peace be in our schools. This year's Super Bowl challenge brought in 3,296 non-perishable food items for our largest donation to the Council on Aging's food pantry. This is one of our favorite assemblies and highlights Potter School's selfless giving. We use the energy of our preschoolers through second graders to pump up our students in grades 3, 4, and 5 in advance of MCAS testing. We line the halls for our own version of a rolling rally. Our youngest students create messages of inspiration, which they deliver to our older students on test-taking days. And Mrs. Lori Murphy has created an MCAS video, which incorporates all of our staff, as well as messages from professional athletes and celebrities. On occasion, Potter gets lucky and has a presenter that leaves an impression. Mark Wood, one of the founding fathers of Trans-Siberian Orchestra, spent a morning at Potter School and made the violin the most popular instrument. This year, our 5th graders teamed up with DCTV and the Greater New Bedford Regional Refuge Management District to create public service announcements focused on the banned use of plastic bags. These PSAs may be seen on DCTV, linked to the Refuge website, and on Facebook. Several years ago, we created a placeholder in our schedule for every classroom to ensure that our students were exposed to STEM opportunities. Working as grade-level teams, the teachers created a bank of STEM lessons that incorporated their grade-level science and math standards into an engaging learning experience. Offered initially as an experiment, this block of time has become one of our students' favorites. This year, we were finally able to create a dedicated space for our instructional technology teacher, Ms. Sandra Chicka. The STEM Lab is the home to all the cool toys and tools available to our digital natives. Green screen, Osmo, coding bots, 3D printer. Our elementary students have it all. No manuals are needed. In their hands, they create and recreate with an energy not seen in any other area of our building. This year, Rick and I were asked to be the Shark Tank judges for our iSTEM Club. Just like our TV version, Mr. Wonderful and I put our product designers through the test. Do ya wanna scuba? Our second grade geography play is an annual highlight to the school year. These catchy tunes play in our heads long after the curtain closes. Potter's Polar Plungers. Thanks to former student Emma Carrier, who challenged Rick and I to plunge, the Potter School team has made an annual pilgrimage to the water's edge to support the Special Olympics program. If walls could talk, ours would say, "Thank you, Mrs. Netto." Our art teacher has created interactive models that delights our visitors during open house and combines our back-to-school messages. What lifts you up? Be the eye and kind. These have become favorite photo op spots. Our fourth grade People's Promenade gives purpose and audience to the whole new meaning to our fourth graders as they learn about a famous person, then need to dress in character and memorize a paragraph highlighting this person's contributions. We cannot wait for Zedfrey to rejoin us for our Booster Fun Run. His energy sparked all of us. Our family surpassed our wildest dreams, capturing a donation from each of the 50 states, having over 70% participation, and raising nearly $20,000 for our PTO. After seeing the student athletes at Dartmouth High School signing on to college sports teams, we thought we'd add the same excitement to signing on to Potter School. Incoming kindergartners and new to Potter students alike created this unique social media post. And finally, the North Branch has opened, and the Potter School students are excited to get their first official library card and be able to borrow books. We are hopeful that the branch will expand their hours in the fall so that our students can make this a weekly visit. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. What you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others. Potter School has benefited from many years of consistent leadership. The success of Rick and I is the direct result of the administrative teams before us, John Fletcher and Carol Carafotis, John Fratiello and Jackie Figueredo, Jackie Figueredo and I, Jackie Figueredo and Deb Kavanaugh and I, and now Rick and I. But administrators can only do so much, and ultimately Potter's success comes from our family. Like every family, we can drive each other crazy, but we are better together. We believe in each other, we believe in our kids, they are our why. Moving along. Rick and I have had a good run. We've pushed each other to be the better versions of ourselves, and together we've been able to bring out the best in the 4-7. Ultimately, we've made Potter our happy place. I am confident that Potter's legacy is in good hands, and Rick and Melissa, our kids, are depending on it. Thank you.
John, wanna?
Sure. Thank you, Mrs. Brooks, and everyone else at Potter School that partook of that wonderful video/slideshow. It's obvious that there is a lot more going on in a lot different types of learning, and gives the students a reason to be there, and congratulations, job well done, and personally, good luck in the future.
Thank you.
So I had the opportunity to go up to the North Branch Library last weekend, and I am so delighted for Potter.
Yes.
It is a wonderful resource, and I was amazed, like I you drive on the road and they look far apart, but then you get up in the building and they're so close. And it's just a beautiful building, and I'm so happy that is there for you. I think it's going to be great for the students. And then I also just want to say thank you for your leadership over the years. It's always great to hear stories about what's going on at Potter, and we deeply appreciate your leadership there.
Thank you.
So is this called the Heidi Brooks farewell tour? You're gonna go on the road?
It is.
Gonna go on the road with it? In all honesty, Potter it's a wonderful family. Both my kids went through there. You highlighted a lot of the great programs and a lot of the great aspects of Potter School, the community. But something you said that does stick, and I think is really true, is the consistency with the leadership between you and Rick and, your predecessors that came before you. And of course, the wonderful staff at Potter. But it's remarkable, the things that have gone on through the years, and the kids, the pictures of the students, that's a testament as well. So I wish you the best of luck,
Thank you.
Mrs. Brooks, in your future endeavors. But and I'm sure we're going to continue on moving forward, and lots of great things to come. So I look forward to the future as well. And so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just love where you went with this presentation, because a lot of times we kind of stay focused on, your school improvement plan, our district plan, and how it kind of relates, and that's all very valid and well and good. But what I loved so much about this presentation is knowing you, is knowing how authentic and true every single piece of what you've shared that you probably don't take credit for, that your team has built. It's just wonderful to know what incredibly empathetic and contributing young little humans you are educating,
Right.
and our future is so bright. And so when you talk about our town and the pride that we need to have, it comes from the classroom, and that drive to really create these well-rounded, amazing little humans who will one day be, well, I don't want to wish them well, sitting in this seat or running our country, contributing to our town, the
Right.
town of Dartmouth, and how likely it is that they'll stay here and contribute here because of how you made them feel. So thank you for this. This was a wonderful presentation.
Thank you. We do call Potter a legacy school. We have a lot of repeat families. We sadly, I can say that Rick and I do walk, they walk through the door and we realize that they were our former students and they're back. And enough time has passed. It's not like they're very young parents, but it really is.
Beautiful.
It's great. And they enjoy it, and they come in and they want to show their kiddos or their spouse the halls that they walked and the bench they sat on and
Yeah,
the gym, which now seems so much smaller to
it
them.
always does, right?
Right, right. But it's a great place.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we're still early. You had a couple more minutes. You could have felt tidy. Now we're going to turn it to some old business, and the beginning of that list is Mr. Kiley. If you would be so kind as to give us any update that you can on the fiscal year 21 budget.
So, our work with the town side of government, which is, somewhat pivotal to the overall approval of
Did you
this
say
budget.
pitiful?
Yeah, pitiful.
Sorry.
Unfortunately, I think I mixed up the two words. Yeah.
No.
Being slip. But I think that that is an important aspect that we still need to figure out, and I still don't have answers on that. But I think that from our perspective at this point, we wouldn't recommend any changes to what we've proposed previously, and we'd certainly, like to have discourse on that. If you have any questions about the budget, we'd be happy to entertain them, but at this point, it's presented the way it is, and we don't we don't have any further changes. Dr. Gifford and I have been, actively engaged with the town side of government on this, and continue to be. And especially as it relates to collective bargaining, which we'll be discussing later in executive session. But at this point, we are standing with what we've previously proposed.
Okay. Do any of my, Mr. Nunes?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Kiley and Dr. Gifford, any change in the town numbers from Friday afternoon? I mean, I guess I'm being facetious here, but have they changed any?
No.
No, okay. You know where I'm going. It's still the same?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
So we're 2 weeks away from the public budget hearing. Are we going to get, I'm trying to be honest and be real here, Mr. Kiley. Is there any expectation that you think those numbers are going to change drastically in the next 2 weeks?
The town's numbers?
The town's numbers. Because right now, we're about about 400,000 apart?
Yeah, I do think that, that there is potentially some opportunity for that to change between now and then. Dr. Gifford and I have had a very recent conversation with the town side of government, and we're somewhat hopeful that there could be a positive change.
In the next 2 weeks?
We're a month away from actually needing to vote on this, so, and we really will need to vote at that time in some way, so the pressure's on for sure. But yeah, it's an ongoing process for sure.
Do you want to, because as you know, we had the budget subcommittee meeting. My colleague Carol's not here. Dr. Karafotis isn't here. Do we want to talk about any of the changes, any of the proposals, or?
I think that at this point, we're not recommending any change.
Okay. So we're leaving this budget the way it is, and then we can have that conversation in the coming weeks as to what we're going to do.
It's possible that it could change on the 23rd. It's possible.
Because I think this committee is going to look for an answer from central office
I understand.
to what are we going to do? Are we going to vote this budget in as it is and take it to, let them either try to find the money or tell us to reduce it, put it on them, put it on the town to reduce it? But at
At
some
this
point,
point, we don't have a recommendation. We're not recommending that you look to reduce this budget right now.
at this point.
Yep.
Okay?
Dr. Jenkins?
So, I'm inclined, if we can't come to an agreement, to put this forward as it is. This is not, we're not asking for more. This is a level services budget. Despite some assertions that we are asking for quote-unquote "the best," we are not. I wouldn't be ashamed if we were asking for the best, right? Why shouldn't we be asking for the best for our children? I'm so angry about that right now. That is an insult to the children of our town to tell them that they do not deserve the best. I would put this budget forward as it is and not recommend cutting. That's me personally, because we're not even asking for the best. We're not even at average, right? We're not even close, right? So we have been asking for quite some time for more resources from the town, and we've been told it's not forthcoming. I don't know what we can do, right, without erasing the gains that we've been able to make over the past several years. So I am not inclined personally to support any cuts to this budget if we have presented it, because we're not asking for anything more. The additions we've added are offset by things that we're taking out. So that's just my personal position. Maybe the town will get closer to where we are, but if not, and when we have to vote, I'm inclined to vote for what we have.
Yeah, as my colleague said, this is like, we're not asking for a lot. And the quote was, "We want the best, but we want everyone else to pay for it." Thought I'd finish that for you.
I'm
the
unashamed
quote.
to ask for the best for our children.
Yeah,
If that's an insult, so be it.
Yeah. We're not asking for the best sadly, we're asking for very little. I'm not inclined to ask for any, to vote for a reduction. How can we really? Yeah, and you talk about, I don't know, I was very disappointed at the last select board meeting and to hear some of the things that were said. We have Ms. Heidi Brooks up here building these empathetic future contributing members of our society, yet, another quote was that we lack the empathy for fellow town people because we're supporting or asking for something that isn't the best, that's far from the best, and looking at all of the parents that are contributing, that are volunteering, that are raising $20,000, $30,000 for our kids to participate in these extracurricular activities, filing for grants, and the Dartmouth Education Foundation contributing just in just great amounts to really just maintain what some of the progress that we've made. It's really difficult. I mean, there's not a lot of money going around, but another thing that was mentioned, that everyone needs to set priorities, and I think it's really about time that we set a priority that supports the future education of our students, and that includes every staff member, everything that's in there, and then some. So that's all I have to say. So, but thank you for...
Yeah, since we're going to go down this road, I'm quite
more, but I'm holding back.
I'm quite honestly really frustrated and disappointed in some of our select board members and in some of the comments that came out of their mouths during that meeting where they took up the override. They knew about this. We pushed this forward to them a while ago, and it wasn't until it was the last minute, right before the deadline to put it on the ballot, that now we're going to start a whole new committee, and we're going to explore it for the next several months. It's just really disheartening that just a couple of the members and the tone they took during that meeting. But I do agree that, if that's the pleasure of this committee and moving forward, that we really should be asking for more than what we're asking for.
Yes, Mr. Noon, sorry.
That's okay. My turn to pontificate.
Gotta go there.
Sorry I started it.
No, listen, let me
Glad
tell
you
you,
did.
Mrs. Amaral and I had a brief discussion when we got here tonight, and let her know that I was not happy after last Monday night's meeting. I caught the tail, I walked in late, so I have not heard the comments. I've heard of them, so I'm not going to pass judgment per se. But I'm not happy that they decided they wanted to throw us under the bus, okay? It's as simple as this. This is a town override for town employees and retirees, not just the school teachers. With all due respect, and I appreciate them here, where are the rest of the town employees with this process that's gone on? They haven't showed up. They haven't been, have they been knocking on the doors at selectmen's? I don't know. I haven't seen them there. But, there's nothing, the selectmen have dragged their feet. We had this discussion back before the holidays. They got into January, gave it a cursory glance, had a brief discussion in February and said, all right, we'll be back in March. And at the 11th hour, it's like, we can't do anything because we don't have enough time to properly fund it. Well, shame on them because they've had time to work on it. They knew where we were, where everybody was. I mean, when you look at this budget, there's over $780,000 of items, not wish lists, things that we needed, textbooks, teachers, supplies, things of that nature, okay? Therapists. It's what we needed. Last year, we were nice people, a nice committee, and we gave them back $75,000 because they needed it to balance the budget. Well, it'll be a cold day when this person votes for a reduction. As far as I'm concerned, our budget going forward is the budget we have right That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Nunes. Anyone else? Any further thoughts? I got more things to say, but I'll save it.
Next week.
Next week.
More numbers.
I watched from home that meeting, and I took
2
notes.
weeks, I should say.
Yeah, no, I never had, in all seriousness, never is, every time I turned, I just couldn't catch that part of the meeting, so with all deference, I didn't see it, so I can't comment on it. I heard about it, but as much as I would like to throw somebody under the bus, I can't because I don't have all the facts. So,
Thank you.
maybe
It's
I can,
not, it's
maybe I
not
can find it on YouTube. or
CCTV, you certainly can on
DCTV,
demand. Yeah.
YouTube, yeah.
YouTube or whatever, then I will.
Okay.
Sorry.
So thank you for that. So let's move on now. Next on our agenda, we have the second reading and the vote, correct? Michelle Roy will review the revisions to 3 school committee policies, JB, equal educational opportunities, JFABF, educational opportunities for children in foster care pre-K through grade 12, and JFABD, homelessness students enrollment rights and services.
So the only adjustment we made from the first read was in the spelling of extracurricular.
Yes.
All the other,
Remains the same.
all the others are put forth in the same manner that they were the first read.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? If not, could we take them all together in a vote if it's the pleasure of the
That's fine.
committee? So I will entertain a motion to vote to accept the revisions to JB, equal education opportunities, JFABF, educational opportunities for children in foster care, pre-K to grade 12, and JFABD, homeless students enrollment rights and services.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Sharing, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for that. And so we move to superintendent's update.
Sure. So a couple of things. We have moved along with the school choice application process, having received, I would say, approximately 65 to 70 applications. So with Kate's help, we are sending out those acceptances. People are returning them from the choices that we've made with the lottery. I just wanted to recognize a few people that the DSMA sent a letter about. I think you received it in your packet, but I'd like to publicly recognize Eddie Goncalo and Jose Freitas, custodians on duty the day of the February 22nd NESPA Indoor Percussion Show. And like I said, the DSMA was very happy with the help and the friendliness and all of the support that they give them for that event, and sent a nice letter, and which I have since also sent them a thank you note, which will.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and also Brittany Medeiros, a cafeteria worker who really supported that event that day. So it's always nice to have other groups recognize some of our employees that step up to the plate and go above and beyond. As you probably remember, we are starting our strategic planning process tomorrow, so we will have about 30 folks in the Quinn Community Room starting that work on that. And I wanted to recognize Mr. Tebow and Jen Thomas, our instructional tech person here at the high school, having presented at the MassQ Leadership Conference last week, and both of them did a fabulous job, and both of their sessions were well attended. Jen presented on various applications for teachers' use in the classroom, and really has a great way of presenting. Folks really, really appreciated that. And Mr. Tebow presented on the schedule, how they developed a schedule here at the high school with the PACE period, advisory, and the various opportunities that it offers students. And once again, we had a few folks come up that were very interested in that, being on committees, I guess, at their own schools that are looking to do something similar. And then last but not least, obviously, we are staying on top of the coronavirus issue. As I mentioned last week, we've met with local Board of Health a couple of times, and keeping each other abreast of what's happening. We're putting out resources as we find them on our Facebook page and website, and keeping in close contact with various school districts and how they're addressing if they have an issue with a particular person, student, whatever it might be. We did postpone the 2 international trips that were set for April due to the guidance from various health organizations, and we are in the process now, we chatted about that today, of, we're going to be increasing cleaning process throughout the schools, enhancing what we're already doing to try to do what we can do at this point. So we'll continue to keep the public abreast of any changes through our email blasts, et cetera. So,
Sounds good.
Thank you.
you're
Thank
welcome.
you very much.
I just want, can I say related to, just one comment and one question. One, please don't come to school if you're sick. Please
Stay
don't.
home.
Public service
Right,
announcement.
yeah.
Stay home and wash your
Stay
hands.
home if you're sick. But also, our campus is sort of deep into planning for potential school closures. I wonder what sort of guidance DESE is giving and what sort of we're doing. I hope it doesn't come to that. But I'm sure you are sort of thinking about what happens if that's the case. And could you maybe talk a little bit about what's being done on that front? Because it will affect a lot of families if, kiddos have to stay home.
One thing, right now, the only thing we have, again, DESE hasn't been much help at all in that respect. I don't think anyone knows what to do. We, in consultation with Chris Mishu with the Board of Health, the one thing, if we see something happening here where we get some positive results or whatever, I think we'll really take off on deciding from there. He would want to be in the know. They will consult with state health officials as well on those kinds of big decisions. But DESE isn't, we were, actually, my last week at the executive board for the Mass Executive Board, we've put forth questions that certain folks will be taking to the commissioner about makeup days or even MCAS, those kinds of things. So we did put together a number of questions that people are just unsure, but they will be meeting with the commissioner, at least from the DESE point of view. How do we handle those pieces? But it's ongoing.
Okay.
Ongoing consults and staying on top of it at this point.
Thank you.
It's a tough one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Thank you. So I actually don't have anything else other than what's been mentioned here. Anybody have anything to share? Yes.
Yeah, just two quick things. I know spring sports are starting next week, and good luck to all of those teams. And our winter sport teams that had an unbelievable season. That was great between the girls and the boys and the track team and everything, so that's fantastic. But and I know Brendan mentioned it a little bit, but this Thursday night is our annual Pops concert that the Music Association puts on in the music department. Doors will open at 6 o'clock. It's $5 for adults, $3 for seniors and students. The concert starts at 7, and every year there's an honoree, and this year's honoree is going to be Mr. Kingsland, who's retiring. So he's our honoree, so which is well-deserved, and, looking forward to it. So that's what's going on.
Thank you. Okay, I guess yeah, go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, just on that note, do we have any updates with interviews and how that process is moving forward?
Yep. So the committee met and reviewed the applicants and selected 5 to interview, and we developed the questions, and we'll be interviewing on Wednesday from 2:30 to 5:30, in the hopes of putting 3 forward to the superintendent.
Okay, so we're at 5 right now.
Mhm.
Yeah. Excellent.
5 good
Thank
ones.
you. Good. All right, so our next meeting is scheduled for March 23rd, 6:30. It is our public hearing. It will be posted in advance. That will be our public hearing for budget, the budget. Will that be here in this room?
Yep.
Yes, okay. So right here where you sit. And so we'll see you there. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn into executive session to provide an update with respect to collective bargaining with union personnel not to return into open session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
call.
Oh, roll call. We'll get this eventually.
Kathleen Emerald,
Yeah, yes.
Chris Oliver,
Yes.
Shannon Jenkins.
Yes.
John News.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you. I even said to myself.
Oh, God.